Hello, everyone, and I'm really pleased and excited to be joined at the moment by Professor Archie Dick, historian of libraries and reading communities in South Africa. Archie's got a brand new book that's just been published by Cambridge University Press, and he's very kindly given us an advanced sight of one of his chapters, which is the topic for discussion at Shoddy Court. And I'm just going to ask Archie to say a few words about that chapter and to identify two or three key topics that he hopes to discuss with us in more detail on Tuesday night. So welcome, Archie, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's an honor for me to participate in the discussions of the Shoddy Court Literary and Mutual Improvement Society. From what I've seen, I've learned much, and I'm really happy to join you this evening to share something from my book, which is just recently been published, and it's a chapter that is called Reading, Writing, Debating, Reciting, and it looks at the 1850s when public libraries were emerging as a result of local initiative and parliamentary grants, with the initiative coming from the local townsfolk themselves to start establish public libraries in small country towns around South Africa in the 1850s and 1860s. But when this was happening, there was already a large, whole range of voluntary societies in these towns where reading featured prominently. For example, book societies, reading societies, literary societies, debating societies, mechanics institutes, and mutual improvement societies. So, there was already a number of initiatives. Some of them were short-lived, and some had to close down and restart. But momentum was gathering in that period of time. So what my book does, or what this chapter is trying to do, is to explain how individuals and small reading communities use these spaces to engage in cultural and literary activities in order to improve themselves. And there were different ideas about improvement at play here. So this chapter discusses a number of examples of how this happened and how people in very small towns got involved in literary culture through reading and writing and a number of other ways. And all of this happened against the background of a period of hope and political progress in the 1850s, 1860s, and 1870s. But then followed by a period of rather of despair and rolling back of those political gains when especially with the discovery of diamonds and gold and the need for larger working class to mine these minerals. It's also known as South Africa's Industrial Revolution as well. But it was also a time when the gains made in the 1850s and 60s politically were being eroded as a result of raising the political franchise, when I look at these initiatives and the programs of these voluntary societies, you can see it clearly in the kind of debates, topics for debates, the kinds of essays they were writing, the kind of books they were reading and discussing, and so on. So the book really tries to bring this together in a way that shows how different communities in South Africa were interacting with each other through, these voluntary associations, and some of the discussion points I thought that could be interesting to the group. One is the relationship between the working classes and the middle classes in these little towns, and how they participated and in these activities. The other one was looking at the changing of views of race and class, and as well as how African participants were keen to participate and to get some of the benefits of Western civilization, but in a selective way, so that they still retain their own cultural integrity. I think there are some very good examples in that chapter. But of course, I'll also be open to questions, from those who will be present on the evening. And I look forward to joining you next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Archie. So for people who were at the last Shoddy Court, we were looking, thanks to Iona, at the role of reading rooms in Carlisle, and a number of things that Archie's already mentioned seem to me to be very reminiscent of some of those debates and discussions. So it appears as if we're moving from Carlisle to Cape Town, but we're also engaging with a number of very similar kind of topics, that relationship between the middle and the working classes, that whole idea of what improvement might mean, and what workers are doing with a literary culture that's not been generated by themselves, but has been generated by other people. So I think some very interesting continuities between previous debates, plus the added attraction of a very different social context in which these debates are occurring. So I hope you'll be able to join us at Shoddy Court on Tuesday evening. The reading is available on the website as usual, and we look forward to seeing you there. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.